I am continuing my lecture on the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Questions by the Sages. This is the sixth installment on this chapter, and tonight we will finish. So, just to bring us up to proper speed, this chapter opened with the 3 introductory verses, which helps us to understand the true position of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the first verse, there was a description of the absolute truth given by the author, Vyasadeva. And that absolute truth was defined as Vasudeva, Krishna. And very clearly, in the first verse, Vyasadeva says that he meditates, Dhimahi. He meditates on this Vasudeva. Then the second introductory verse, Bhagavatam is distinguished from all other Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, Sutras, all other Vedic scriptures, as being the Shiromani, the crown jewel, the ripened fruit of the tree of knowledge, which we call as Vedas. The Vedas contain all knowledge, material, metaphysical, transcendental, and the ripened fruit, the cream of all that Vedic knowledge, is this Srimad Bhagavatam. And we were told by Vyasadeva in the second verse, the only way to understand, relish, and appreciate Srimad Bhagavatam is to become free from envy. As Krishna told Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, because you are non-envious of me, that is why I am speaking to you this Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And right at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are warned, leave your envy at the door. Envy begins with the original sin, envy of God. Envy of God means, I want to be the enjoyer. I want to be the proprietor. I want to be the center of attention. I want to usurp Krishna's position. That is the original sin. That is the origin of envy, and from that we are envious of everything because, as we learn in Bhagavad Gita, everything comes from Krishna, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. And the first shloka of Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva said, the absolute truth, Vasudeva, means everything comes from him, everything is sustained by him, and in the end, everything will enter him. That's the one definition of the absolute truth. After the 3 introductory verses, we were taken to Naimisharanya, at the very beginning of Kali Yuga. The sages, the saintly persons, the real protectors of mankind, assembled at the holy place Naimisharanya, which is considered to be the hub of the whole universe, as envisioned by the Creator, Lord Brahma, Naimisharanya. And the sages have decided, knowing how bad is Kali Yuga, for the benefit of the people of Kali Yuga, the sages of Naimisharanya have gathered to perform a sacrifice lasting 1,000 years. And in that 1,000 years, they have selected Sutta Goswami as their Acharya. They have placed him on an elevated seat, Vyasa-san. And that very term, Vyasa-san, means that the speaker has to represent the philosophy of Vyasadeva. He cannot say anything that contradicts what Vyasadeva teaches. Why? Vyasadeva compiled and edited the one Veda into 4. Vyasadeva took all the Vedic knowledge and came up with 108 Upanishads. Vyasadeva composed 17 Puranas. Vyasadeva compiled the Mahabharata, in which is included Bhagavad Gita, which is considered the Bible of India. Every Hindu sect, maybe there's a few that doesn't, but most, if not every Hindu sect accepts Bhagavad Gita as the scripture. And Vyasadeva also compiled the Vedanta Sutra. And then his final masterpiece is this Srimad Bhagavatam. And he was ordered to compile this Srimad Bhagavatam on the order of his guru, Narada Muni Bhajaya Vina Radhika Ramananame. Narada Muni is the spiritual master, Acharya Guru of Vyasadeva. And he was the one that told them, now, as your final masterpiece, you compile Srimad Bhagavatam. So the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they have selected Sutta Goswami to answer their questions. They selected Sutta Goswami for 2 reasons. First, he was the eldest of the Vedantists. He was present at the original recitation of Bhagavatam by Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyas, when it was first spoken in public to Maharaj Parikshit. And in that recitation, Shukadeva Goswami told everyone, before Parikshit was killed by the Takshaka snake bird, Shukadeva Goswami pointed out Sutta Goswami and said, this Sutta Goswami will later speak this very Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisharanya. It was predicted. Now the opening scene of Bhagavatam is that prediction come true. The sages of Naimisharanya have asked Sutta Goswami 6 very, very important questions. They are continuing, and this chapter will end with perhaps the most important of those 6 questions. So let's finish up this first chapter, and then we'll have time to go and start chapter 2. If you are ready to hear with rapt attention, if your cell phones are turned off so that you're not disturbed, so that you can listen clearly, then repeat after me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So the sages are speaking to Sutta Goswami. They now say, we never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who was glorified by hymns and prayers. For those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him, they relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. So in this verse, there is much to think about. So the first thing, we never tire hearing. Yes, this is the nature of transcendental subject matter. Material subject matter becomes stale, hackneyed, and therefore we have to hear new, because we cannot hear the same thing over and over. It's hackneyed, it's material. But here, the sages are saying, but when it comes to the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, we don't get tired. Many of you have had that experience. Many of you are 50, 60 years old. How many times you have heard the story of Giri Govardhan? Right? And do you not look forward every year to hearing how Krishna lifts Govardhan Hill? Many of you know the Rasa Leela. You don't mind hearing it again. So that is the nature of transcendental pastimes. Pastimes means whatever God does, he is enjoying. Whether he's killing someone or kissing someone, he's enjoying. Why? He's transcendental. Then they said, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. They used a particular name. Uttama Shloka. Everybody say. Uttama Shloka means that when Vyasadeva or any transcendental kavi describes Bhagavan, they're going to use very choice, select words. Just like if there's a death, you might write a card, condolences, but you'll choose your words carefully because the family is grieving. Or in mundane, Valentine's Day, when they write the love note, they use very select words. Or you're writing a resume. You want to get that promotion. You're going to choose your words very carefully because one mistake, because you're applying for a job just like 100 other people. Your words, your resume has to be so special. Oh, I like this Gadadhar. He should come and be our head chanter, head priest. He wrote such a nice resume with great recommendations. So the kavis are the same way. When they're describing God, uttama shloka, topmost transcendental words are used. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relations with him, rasa. That was already explained in the third verse, rasa. This word was introduced by Vyasadeva. Rasa means a transcendental relationship with God. There are 5 basic rasas. The atheist does not want a rasa with God. The demon's rasa, envy, like kamsa, fear, anger. The demon wants what kind of relationship? He wants to fight, attack, kill. Right. So Krishna says, oh, you want to fight me? I'll oblige, but you will lose. As in the case of Hiranyakashipu, in the case of Hiranyaksha, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, Kamsa, all the great acharyas of the demoniac species. Yes, they have their acharyas too. Asuracharya. Yes. Everybody has a sampradaya. So, they want, rasa. So the atheists do not want a rasa. The demons have a rasa, anger, envy. Then there is the Shanta Bhakta. Shanta Bhakta simply appreciates, oh, God is so great. Sometimes you see on the bumper sticker, God is awesome. That's Shanta Ras. That these kavis, like the 4 Kumaras, when they finally became bhaktas, when they finally saw Narayan, they smelled the tulsi and the saffron from the feet of Narayan. Their whole consciousness was changed. Previously, the Kumaras were impersonalists, but they were able to penetrate Vaikuntha, and they smelled the tulsi and the sandalwood paste which is placed on the Lord's feet. They had a complete change. They became bhaktas, shanta bhaktas, appreciating how great, wonderful is Narayan. Everybody say, Narayan. Very good. Then there is dasya, servitude, Hanuman. Hanuman is called Bhaktaraj. He is the perfect example of dasya ras, servant. Even he was offered benedictions by Lord Ram. Hanuman said, no, I just want to be your humble servant at your lotus feet. That is his ecstasy. He doesn't want anything. I must serve my Lord Ram. Then the next rasa, Sakya, friendship. Best example, Arjuna. Who said that? I don't have my bell today, but I'll clang my kartals. Very good. Arjuna. Yes. How do we know? Because how many times has Krishna driven you to work? Krishna did not become Yudhishthir's chariot driver. And when Duryodhana came to Dwaraka, Duryodhana and Arjuna came to Dwarka at the same time Krishna was sleeping. Both came with the intention of getting Krishna on their side for the war. Duryodhana, being an asura, he stayed at Krishna's head while Krishna was sleeping, thinking that when Krishna wakes up, he'll see him first. That was his miscalculation. Arjuna, being the bhakta, he was at Krishna's feet. He took the humble position. Because he could have taken the other side, right? There's two sides to the head, so Arjuna, if he was like Duryodhana, could have made a 50-50 wager. Okay, maybe Krishna will see me first. No. But Arjuna took the feet. So when Krishna woke up, who did he see? He didn't see Duryodhana. He saw Arjuna. But again, Duryodhana, politician, he said, no, I came first. So you have to satisfy me first, right? So Duryodhana got Krishna's army. And Arjuna got Krishna. Duryodhana thought, hey, I came out really good here. I have Krishna's army. Now I will surely win the battle. No, Duryodhana. Duryodhana has many faults. One of his faults, he always calculated materially. Arjuna calculated devotionally. And that ultimately is what saved Arjuna. He was not calculating only the material aspect. He considered, but what does Krishna think? What is Krishna's advice? Not just like Duryodhana. Duryodhana calculates and bases everything on his own strength, and that's a demon. A demon thinks that he knows everything, he has everything figured out. That's less intelligent. Bhagavad Gita teaches us there are 5 factors which determine the outcome of any activity. What's the 5th factor? Daiva. Daiva is destiny. But who determines destiny? Super Soul, Paramatma. He is, as Krishna says in chapter 13, Upadrasta hi Anumanta. What is the Super Soul doing? The Super Soul in everyone's body is doing 2 things. Overseeing, witnessing, and sanctioning. Sanctioning means You try to do something, but sometimes Krishna says, no. And then other times Krishna says, okay, I sanction it. You did that with your children. Did you give your children everything they asked for all the time? I know Indian people, they don't spoil your children. Sometimes you said no. That's because you're good. And Krishna's the same way with us. We're all his children, so sometimes Krishna says, And sometimes Krishna says, okay. Anumanta hi upadrasta. So Arjuna, he is best example of friend of Krishna. Because Krishna agreed to be Paratha Sarati. And without Krishna's help, Arjuna would have been killed on that battle of Kurukshetra. There was more than one incident where Krishna protected Arjuna. Then the fourth rasa, Vatsalya, parental, Vasudev Devaki, Aditi Kashyapa, Nanda Yashoda. God has Prishni Sutapa, Gada, Devahuti Kardama. Many examples of God accepting his devotees, and they are relishing the parental ras. And then you have the ultimate ras, Madhurya, conjugal. You have the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha. They are the married wives of all the Narayans. Then you have the queens of Dwaraka, the married wives of Krishna. And then you have the gopis. The gopis are also in this Madhurya ras, but they are not married to Krishna. And that's a discussion for another 1-hour lecture, not now. But these are the 5 basic rasas. So those who have developed a transcendental relationship with God, you will fall into one of these categories. Actually, you already have an eternal rasa with Krishna, but we have forgotten it. And the whole process of bhakti is to reawaken that forgotten relationship with Krishna. So it's very exciting to take to this bhakti path, because when you reach self-realization, you will rediscover what is your eternal original relationship with God. That is something to wake up for every day. I'm one day closer to discovering what is my eternal relationship with God. What are those 5 that I just mentioned? So the sages of Naimisharanya say, those who are devotees, they enjoy, they relish hearing about Krishna's pastimes every moment. They enjoy it. Everybody chant one time for me.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
See?
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Knowing Gadadhar all these years, his ras is just like Narada Muni. Narada Muni's rasa, he travels all over the world. What does he want to do? Sing and preach. Gadadhar, what do you want to do forever? What, you don't want to sing for Krishna?
I do always.
Yeah, but I'm saying, don't you want to do this forever?
Yes, I'm going to.
Okay, then. I'm the same way. I also want to be like Narada Muni. Tomorrow I'm going to Australia to chant and preach. Krishna fulfills desires. I didn't ask, but Krishna knew. Okay, you want to go? I'll arrange. So, I bless you. You will travel the world one day singing and preaching. And maybe do a little cooking. Because you also have that rasa. Yes. Okay, let's go to the next verse. The sages say, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balaram, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. So this is another very knowledgeable statement by the sages of Naimisharanya. First of all, they are aware of the fact that Krishna is Bhagavan. And they're also aware of the fact that Balaram is his brother. But this next line, played like a human being, that is significant. That teaches us what this word Leela means. He's playing, just like a drama. In a drama, you get dressed up, you play the role of, say, Dasarath, or you play the role of Ram or Hanuman. You put a little tail on you. Or you play the role of Sita, or you play my favorite role, Rava. But you're playing a role, that's not who you are. After the play, you take off your clothes, wash off, and you're back to being your regular self. So in the same way, Krishna is playing like an ordinary human. He's not an ordinary human being, he's God. But, as it says here, so masked. He doesn't look like God. Normally we think of God, Narayan, 4 hands with the different symbols. That's God. Generally, normally. But Krishna did not come like that. Neither did Balaram. They appeared like ordinary human beings. Ramachandra was the same way. Ramachandra in the spiritual world has that Narayan form. But when he came to earth, he played like a Maryad Purushottam. Yes, you use that term. Ram didn't look like Narayan with 4 hands. He looked like a prince. He looked. That's why Ravan, when it was told, oh Ravan, don't steal Sita because Ram will kill you. Ravan said, he's just a human being. What am I worried about this Ram? He does it. That was his mistake. He was warned several times by his own kinsmen. Give back Sita. Don't do this. Don't go to war with Ram. You're going to lose. But Ravan, he had too much pride and ego. He thought, he's an ordinary human being. What he can do to me? Ravan was too confident in his own abilities. Again, that's the demon. Overconfident. Yes. Ravan had no humility, but he was not lacking in self-confidence. He had complete confidence in his abilities. And that was his downfall. As we say in America, pride comes before the fall. My mother always used to chastise me. Nikki, pride comes before the fall. I had a very good mother because she would not let me get away with nonsense. She would tell me don't do like that. So Krishna and Balaram, they played like a human being. And even the demigods were bewildered. Indra thought, who is this Krishna stopping the residents of Vrindavan from worshipping me? And he used the exact words. What did Indra say? These residents of Vrindavan have become influenced by an over-talkative child. That's pretty blasphemous to call God over-talkative, right? But that's because Indra could not see that this 7-year-old boy was his Lord and Master. But after he lifted Govardhan Hill for 7 days and 7 nights, then it dawned, oh. And that's why Indra had to come down and humble himself, even though it's described his helmet was dazzling. He had to come down to see Krishna and go on the ground and beg forgiveness. And Krishna told him off. Krishna said, look, Indra, your powers come from me, and not just you, anyone. If I want to take away their position, it's not a problem for me. I pull one down from their prestigious position, puffed up. So Krishna said, okay, Indra, you can go back and be Indra, but don't be puffed up. Remember, you're my servant. Brahma made the same mistake. Brahma's offense was not in the same degree as Indra, because Brahma is much smarter than Indra. Brahma's body is made out of intelligence. So Brahma is the topmost learned person. As it says in the first verse of Bhagavatam, Adi Kavaye. He's the original Kavi. So Brahma's offense was, let me try to play a trick on Krishna. Do you do that? Do you try to play a trick on your boss? Would you do that? I don't think so. Take his car keys? You'll take the boss's car keys? No, you're not going to do that. You treat the boss, yes, sir. And if you're the boss, you're thinking, yes, that's how my employee should treat me. Yes, boss. So Brahma also made that same mistake, miscalculating. Putana, all the demons, misunderstood, thinking that Krishna was a human being. But the sages, they know he's playing like a human being. Leela. The sages continue. Knowing well that the age of Kali has already begun, we are assembled here in this holy place to hear at great length the transcendental message of Godhead, and in this way perform sacrifice. So yes, the sages knew that the age of Kali began when? The day Krishna left this planet. That statement is confirmed at least 3 times in Bhagavatam directly. When did Kali Yuga begin? When Krishna was shot in the foot and he assumed up through the universe and returned to his spiritual abode. The day Krishna left is how the Bhagavatam says that is the beginning of the age of Kali. So, the sages had already said previously in this chapter that the people of the age of Kali are short-lived. They do all sorts of inauspicious things. They're unlucky. And their minds are always disturbed. That's the symptoms of a Kali Yuga person. And another symptom of Kali Yuga, everybody thinks, I know everything already. I don't need to hear from you, Prabhuji. I already know everything. Yes, that's another symptom of Kali Yuga. I know it. So, the sages are assembled here. They want to hear at great length. As I said, 1,000 years they're performing sacrifice. And we can't even sit 1 hour to hear a katha. Unless it's very, very funny. If there's a lot of jokes, okay, then I'll stay. But they are going to perform sacrifice. But the sacrifice is, and it'll be stated later, they will admit, yes, they are doing the Homa, but they are admitting, yes, but we're simply getting black by the smoke. The real sacrifice is the hearing of the Katha about Krishna. That's the real yajna. That's why we emphasize Yajnai Sankirtana Prayayar. In this age of Kali, try to understand, this is not my opinion. It's not Prabhupada's opinion. It is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. The only recommended sacrifice in the age of Kali is Sankirtan, congregational hearing and chanting about God, not politicians, not movie stars. Hearing and chanting about God, the Supreme God. That is the recommended sacrifice for the age of Kali. That's why the verse is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam. Eva means only. Kevalam, the only way. All right. Now this next statement. This next statement is how you should select and view the Acharya, your guru. They say, we think we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being. So, they're addressing their Acharya, Sutta, and they say, this has happened by the will of providence. Again, providence means God in the heart. Providence is Daiva, which is directed by Krishna in his form as Paramatma. He controls the destiny of everyone. So when you hear this word providence, that's simply another way of saying Krishna, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yantra Rudhani Mayaya, in the 18th chapter. For the 5th time in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am in your heart. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Arjun Tishtati Brahmayan Sarvabhutanam Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. In this final statement of the Bhagavad Gita with reference to Krishna in the heart, he says, I am controlling the wanderings of all the living entities because you, and he's talking to Arjuna, he's actually talking to everyone, we are like seated as on a machine made of material energy, but Krishna says, I'm directing the traffic. It's not difficult to understand. You all came here in a vehicle. I don't think any of you, maybe one or two of you, live close by. You walked. I would surmise to say 99% of you came here in a car. So you drove the car. Now you're out of the car. So in the same way, your soul, you, are seated in a car known as your body. And your car is different from your car, different from your car, different from this. Everybody has their own unique car. But just like when you drive, the green lights control the traffic flow, yes? Green, red, yellow. You can just not drive just when you want. No, you're controlled. So in the same way, Krishna is the master controller of all the living entities as they're going. Again, Anumanta hi upadrascha. I am noticing, witnessing, but I'm also directing traffic. You stay here. You go here. You go here. You go like that. He's in control. Just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship. That is Guru. He is the captain of the ship for what? To cross the difficult ocean of Kali. Because Kali, the age of Kali, is not conducive for liberation. The age of Kali is conducive for going to hell. It's very easy to go to hell in the age of Kali because everything is set up and designed for you to go to hell. How do you go to hell? Well, what does Krishna say? There are 3 gates. Who knows their Bhagavad Gita? Anger, greed, and lust. And isn't that what the television, the radio, the movies promoting? They're not promoting sattva guna. They're promoting lust. All those movies, lust, 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 anger, greed, everything. And this is America, the country of lust, anger, and greed. We have our capital city, Las Vegas, the capital of lust, anger, greed, and stupidity, where a person will come and act like a jackass. And they even make fun of it. They make fun of it. Oh yes, I went to Vegas, I was a big jackass. And I can't wait to go back again and be a jackass again. Because that's what Las Vegas does. So, the age of Kali, and not only that, it's increasing at every second. Sri Sri Radha Raman Bhagavan Ki. It's only going to get worse. You all know better than me. What was it like in India 50 years ago? Was it more spiritual then or now? When you go to India, what do you see? Is it more spiritual or less spiritual?
Now it's less.
Yes, now it's less. Because I've heard you say so many times, Prabhuji, oh. Yes, it's become what? More materialistic. You tell me, is not the Yamuna now very, very poisonous? What has caused that? Why is the Yamuna so poisonous now? Industries, what have they done? Dumped toxins. Am I right or wrong? Yes. I've heard from you, and I know myself. First time I went to India was 1975. So when I went to Vrindavan in 1975, it was very, very charming. I went again in 1976, little change. But then I went in 1988. I couldn't recognize Vrindavan. I couldn't believe how it had become so commercial. And now I haven't been since 1988, but I have heard from many of you, now Vrindavan is like, compared to what it was like in 1975. So this is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means things are going to become more and more degrading, more and more materialistic. To be spiritual in Kali Yuga is a struggle. So the sages of Naimisharanya say, those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, what? Which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being. You've probably seen it in the politicians. Every year, they become more and more corrupt. Fortunately, in India, you have a very good politician now. Mr. Modi. I call him the Obama of India. He will do good things for your India. I am actually praying that he makes big impact and does good things. How many of you like that idea? You think that's good? Yes. I think he's a good man. He has some religious, spiritual inclinations. And he has become intimate with many ISKCON sannyasis. So that's good. But normally, the age of Kali, little by little, the good qualities deteriorate. So here comes the final verse of this chapter. As I said, this is perhaps the most important question of the 6 questions asked by the sages of Naimisharanya. It's a famous verse. I have not memorized the Sanskrit, but I'll ask you to repeat the English, if you would please. Please repeat. Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, and the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. So the sages of Naimisharanya, specifically, and it's in the Sanskrit, Krishna's name is directly stated. It's the first word of the verse, Krishna, unto Krishna. And and I already mentioned it. And then they say, and by the way, this Krishna is the absolute truth, because that was the first statement of this chapter. Vyasadeva said, the absolute truth is Vasudeva. Everybody say. Vasudeva. And that can only be Krishna, can't be anybody else. So it's already been concluded that Krishna is the absolute truth. Absolute truth means it was true in the past, it's true in the present, and will always be true in the future. That's the meaning of absolute truth. Relative truth is, it may be true now, but we can't bank on it for tomorrow. Relative truth. It's true sometimes. But absolute truth means always true. And Krishna is always true. Then they said, Krishna is the master of all mystic powers. Last verse of Bhagavad Gita. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. That was Sanjaya's words. As he's telling Dhritarashtra. He's telling Dhritarashtra, as long as Krishna is there, the master of all mystic powers, and Arjuna, the great warrior, what will there be? Opulence, power, victory. Pay attention, Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya is telling him, your sons are not going home. Because Krishna and Arjuna means extraordinary victory. And you know what happened after 18 days. What happened? How many sons did Dhritarashtra come back with? That's right. Especially his darling Duryodhana. Lying there, his spine broken. And just when Ashvatthama thought he was going to do something to satisfy Duryodhana, but it wasn't the 5 heads of the Pandavas, was it? It was the 5 heads of the sons of the Pandavas. And Duryodhana died broken-hearted because he always wanted those 5 sons to carry on the family. He didn't want those 5 sons killed. So he died. All of Duryodhana's plans finished. He died completely miserable. As the description is there, he's dying. Who's waiting for his death? Vultures. They're just waiting. Come on now. It's time for our feast. Die already. Yes. So Krishna is the master of all mystic powers. Now that he has departed for his own abode. In other words, Krishna did not die. Anyone who thinks that Krishna's died does not understand Krishna. Krishna cannot die. He went back to his abode. He did not die. He was shot in the foot, but that didn't kill him. Not only that, he gave liberation to the hunter who shot him in the foot. Pretty good, huh? If I attack you and shoot you, are you going to bless me? Oh, thank you, Narantara. Krishna thanked? Yes, thank you. Now you can go back to Godhead. Go ahead. Yes, Jara went back for shooting Krishna in the foot. So don't think, oh, I will shoot Krishna and I will. Don't work that way. Just like one person once told me, Prabhuji, Krishna delivers all the demons, so I'm going to become a demon and then Krishna will deliver me. I said, that's the wrong way to think. Don't think you're that kind of demon. See, that's another ego, pride. I'll be a demon. Krishna's not going to kill you. You have to be big, special demon, not some pipsqueak demon. Don't think like that. That's stupid thinking. Now that he has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom religious principles have not gone for shelter. Because while Krishna was here, he is the origin of all religious principles. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, surrender to me. Notice in that verse in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadhaman Parityaja. Give up all religion. Why? Because Krishna is the origin of all religious principles. That's why he's saying, give up all other religious principles because I am personified religion. Just surrender to me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Ma suchaha. Don't worry. Don't hesitate. Don't fear. Don't doubt. So, I'm going to spoil because the answer to this verse comes in the 3rd chapter. But it's so good, I have to say it. So the answer to this question that Sutta Goswami will speak toward the end of chapter 3. So it'll be many months before we get there. So it's okay. The answer to the question, where do religious principles go to? Srimad Bhagavatam. That's where all religious principles have taken shelter in the age of Kali, in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So it might be a good idea to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Hari Haraye Namaha. Hari Haraye Namaha. Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Rama Shri Madhu Sudana. Hari Haraye Namaha. Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Hari Haraye Namaha. Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Hari Haraye Namaha. 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 Everybody. Thank you, Radharaman Temple, for allowing me the privilege to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. May Krishna bless you all, protect you, and maintain you. And may you all have a happy, holy, and healthy New Year. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.